Hello and welcome back to VHB tutorials. So now we will start or we will derive the elemental stiffness matrix by stiffness method. Now there are different methods for the derivation of elemental stiffness matrix. So among that methods we will discuss the first method of derivation of elemental stiffness matrix by stiffness method. In next or in upcoming videos we will discuss the derivation of elemental stiffness matrix by potential energy approach. So these both are the different concept. So just be with me and understand that what is this elemental stiffness matrix, and please try to watch this video with one single shot only, because if you will watch this video till the end then you can understand the concept, because in between I am explaining different and thumb rules for the remembering this concept also. So please watch this video till the end and make sure that you hit the like button if you enjoy this video, and please share much as you can share and subscribe to my channel. So now without any further delay, let's get started. So stiffness is given by what? Stiffness is given by force or load per unit deflection. So I hope you know this formula, that force per unit deflection. Now stiffness is represented by what? K, and force as it is F, and deflection, here we will consider deflection as, let's say, U, right? So what is the unit? Here it is Newton per mm. Now in this chapter or in this concept we will use mm. Unit will be mm, not meter, right? And why it is so, you will understand in further videos. So unit is Newton per mm. Now from this equation I can write force is equals to K into U, right? Now you know that this formula was used or it is used for what? Springs. So here say we have a spring and it is fixed at one end, and the other end, on the other end we are applying load, let's say P, right? Now by the application of this load, this point will deflect by, let's say, here it is deflected here, so the distance is U. The length of the spring is L, and the stiffness of the spring is given by what? K is equals to force or load per unit deflection. So P is equals to K into U. So I hope you got the idea that at where we can use this formula. So this formula can be used where we have one end fixed and on the other end we are applying the load, or other end is free to deflect. So in that case only we can use this formula. Now we will see that we can find the stiffness of bar element or not. So for that we will consider a bar element. So this is our bar element having cross-sectional area A, and let's say length is L only. Now we are applying load here, so P, so this end will be deflected, let's say it will be deflected here. So the distance or the deflection is given by U. Now I want to find the stiffness of this bar element. Now I think some of you know the concept behind finding the stiffness and some of don't. So don't worry, I will explain you that how we can find the stiffness of this bar element. Now please note, keep a note that if I will say bar element, then the degrees of freedom of bar element is different, and if I say beam element, then degrees of freedom of beam element is also different. You can confused because the figure of this bar and beam is same, right? So you have to take a note that in question if it is mentioned that bar element, then we have to keep that in mind, and degrees of freedom will be different for bar element. Now what about this? How we can find the stiffness for this bar element? So if you want to think, then you can pause the video and think. So now we will start. We will think that how we can find. So here we have bar element. So whenever we have bar, beam, then we will think in this direction, that stress, strain, right? So what is the famous formula in the sense of stress and strain? Hooke's law. So according to Hooke's law, stress is directly proportional to strain, right? So stress can be written as E into epsilon. Now all of you know this formula, this law. Now this is stress, this is Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity, and this is the epsilon, strain, right? Now this stress can be written as load or force upon area, right? And this modulus of elasticity as it is, and this strain. Now strain is defined for, here we are dealing with change in length only. So strain is defined as deflection upon original length. So deflection is what? Deflection is U. So change in length or deflection upon original length L. So epsilon or the strain is written as change in length upon original length, right? Now from this formula I can write P, I will write here that P can be written as A into E upon L into U, right? Check it out, that P is equals to A into E upon L into U. Now let's compare this equation with equation number this 1. So comparing these both equations, we are getting what? This stiffness of our bar element is equals to AE upon L. So where A is the cross-sectional area of the bar element, A is the Young's modulus of this bar element, material of this bar element, and L is the length of this bar element. Now you can't use this formula everywhere. You can use this formula where when we have one end of the bar free and other end is fixed, right? So you have to keep in mind that if you are having one end fixed and other end moving, then you can use this formula, otherwise not, right? So now what about step bar? If we want to find the stiffness of that step bar, then how we can find? So now we will see that how we can find, and now we are moving into our derivation. So this was the prerequisite concepts which we have to know in order to derive the further derivations, right? So I hope you have taken the screenshot, or you can pause the video and write this thing in your notebook. So now how we can find the stiffness of this structure? This is a step bar. So I hope you know the concept of this nodes, placing the nodes at, means where to place the nodes, or when we can place the nodes at different points. So there are some particular rules which we have to follow in order to place the nodes, and I have discussed that rules in the previous video in the introduction to FEA or FEM, right? So if you don't know the rules, then please check that video in my playlist, and you can easily understand that where to place the nodes. So we can say this whole structure of step bar is made up of two bar elements, first element and the second element. Now how we can find the elemental stiffness matrix, or sorry, how we can find the stiffness in this case? So now you will think, okay, we can find the stiffness of this bar element. Why? Because this end is fixed and this end is moving, right? Okay, you are right. But what about this second element? Because if we are applying load here, let us say we are applying a force F here, then you know what? That this point is moving and this point is also moving or under deflection. Then how we can find the stiffness of this element? So to find that or to solve that problem, we will derive a method or a derivation. We will see the derivation to solve this problem. So just observe me, and if you have any doubts in between, then you can ask me in the comment section. And note this down, that this formula can be used when one end is fixed and other end is moving. Now what about when both of the ends are moving? So for that, just observe here. So now forget this thing. For instance, forget this thing and think that we have one bar element. Let's say this is our bar element, element E, and having node 1 and node 2. Now we will consider different cases. So in total we will have 3 cases. So case 1 is what? Case 1 is we will fix this node 2. So node 2 is fixed and node 1 is movable. Then what will happen, we will see. So as you know that node 2 is fixed. So we can fix this node. So node 2 is fixed and we can apply load here. This is our node 1. So this is the force F1 at node 1 and there will be a deflection U1 at the node 1. Right? This is the figure for first case. So if I want to write the stiffness of this element, then obviously we can write, because we know what, that one end is fixed and other end is moving. So we can easily write our formula or our concept. We can apply here that load or force is equals to K into, or let's say KE into deflection, that U1. Now what is KE? KE is this, AE by L. So F is equals to AE upon L into U1. So I hope you got this formula, that how we have applied this. So let's mark this equation number 1. Now this is F1. Now as this node is fixed, that means there should be a reaction force, and that reaction force is helping this node to remain fixed. So the reaction force at node 2 we can write as F2. F2 is what? F2 is the reaction force. F2 is reaction force at node 2, right? Now we know, according to the Newton's third law, that action is equals to reaction but opposite in direction. So magnitude of both of these force will be same, but they are in opposite direction. So we will keep minus. So F2 is what? F2 is minus of AE upon L into U1. So this is the second formula we are getting. Now we will find for case 2. So what the case 2 be? So in case 2 we will fix node 1 and node 2 will be movable. So now I have to rub this part. Case 1, that I will write 1 is fixed, that means node 1 is fixed, and 2 is moving, that means node 2 is movable, right? So this is our case 2. So I will modify the figure here only, right? This is 2, this is 1. Now 1 is fixed. On 2 we are applying force F2 and there is a deflection of U2. So according to this formula we can apply that, we can write that F2 is equals to KE. Here KE will be there because the element is same. We are obviously writing the different forces, but we are applying these forces on which element? On the same element. So KE will be same. So KE into U2, deflection of node 2. So F2 is what? F2 is equals to KE is what? AE upon L into U2. Now again same. As node 1 is fixed, so there will be a reaction force. So reaction force is given by F1. So F1 is what? F1 is minus of F2. So which is equals to minus of AE upon L into U2. So we are getting other two set of equations. Let's say this is equation number 3 and this is equation number 4. Now we will write all this F1, F2, we will write this F1, F2 together, means from these cases. Now but just wait, we are missing the third case, that is both nodes are movable. So we can find the elemental stiffness matrix in this case, right? So for that I have to rub this part. So case 3, both nodes are movable. Now what about this case? How we can solve? No problem. We can modify here only, right? So this is our element, bar element, let's say E. Now both nodes are free. So 1 and 2 both are free. So what we can do, we have the forces when node 2 is fixed, and we have the forces when node 1 is fixed. So we will just superimpose these two conditions. That means we will combine these forces. How? That F1 is what? Both are fixed, so they are related with these cases only. So we can superimpose this. So F1 is what? F1 is writing first from this case. F1 is AE by L into U1, and F1 from case 2 is what? F1 is minus AE upon L into U2, right? Now what about F2? So F2 from first case, F2 can be written as minus AE upon L into U1, and what about F2 from the second case? So it is here. So F2 is AE upon L into U2. Now just we will use this resultant concept. We cannot say that we are taking the resultant, but for the sake of simplicity we will just tell our mind that we are taking the concept of resultant, but we are superimposing these conditions. So F1, altogether F1 can be written as AE upon L common, this U1 minus U2. And similarly, this F2 can be written as the AE common, AE upon L into bracket minus U1 plus U2. So we are getting this. Now in FEA, we have to write all our equations in the matrix form. So you have to keep this in mind that we have to always write all the equations in matrix form. So similarly we will write this also in matrix form. So how we can write? See, F1, F2, which is our column matrix, which is equals to what? This AE upon L is constant term, so it will be out of the matrix. Now we have this and this. No problem. Here we have 2 cross 1, right? This is the order. This representing the order or the number of rows, and this is representing number of columns. So we are getting on the left hand side 2 cross 1 matrix. So here we have to write the matrix in such a way that on multiplication of both of the matrix gives me a matrix of 2 cross 1. So how we can get the matrix of 2 cross 1? So by multiplying a matrix of 2 cross 2 with 2 cross 1 matrix, then we can get our this matrix, because the multiplication rules of the matrix is what? Matrix which is placed at the first should have the number of column equal to the number of row of the second matrix. So here we have both of same. So we can write what? Here this U and U2 will be out of the matrix. We will write other matrix for U1 and U2. So 2 cross 2 will be 1, this minus 1, then minus 1 and plus 1. I will again explain. This is U1, so 1. This is minus U2, so minus. Now the second row, minus 1, and this is 1. Now with this we have to have this matrix or column matrix. So we will write U1 and U2. So this is how we can find the elemental stiffness matrix. It is not completed yet, but just observe that you have understood or not. See what we have done. We want to bring 2 cross 1 matrix. So to bring that 2 cross 1 matrix, we have to multiply two matrix having order 2 cross 2 and 2 cross 1. So multiplication rule is that the column number of the first matrix should be same as the row number of the second matrix. So we have same numbers. So this gets cancelled and we are getting 2 cross 1 matrix. So if we will multiply this 2, then you will get the same 2 cross 1 matrix, right? Now comparing this matrix with what? With our equation, that is load or force is equals to K into U. So by comparing this equation 1 and 2, what you are getting or what we are getting is that our elemental stiffness matrix Ke. So we are getting our elemental stiffness matrix as AE upon L into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. So this is the formula of our elemental stiffness matrix, which is used when both of the nodes are movable. So I hope you got this idea. So this is the derivation of our elemental stiffness matrix. Now if you have any doubts, then please ask me in the comment section, and please share this video as much as you can share and subscribe to my channel. And if you have enjoyed this video, then make sure that you hit the like button. In the next video, we will see what is global stiffness, and we will try to solve the sums related to this calculation or the derivation, right? So till then, take care and bye-bye.